everyone, it's Heather with Equifitt, Heather Sansom. So some of you know Equifitt's been around since 2007, and when I founded it, my goal was to help riders ride better and have better living through fitness. So I have developed rider fitness programs that are based on the fact that a lot of riders don't have time for the gym. What does that mean? That means that even before COVID-19, and we're talking right now in April 2020, even before COVID-19, I was specializing in helping riders with workouts that you can do efficiently with very little equipment and in a small space. And so this is a perfect time where I am in my country, Canada. Riders are not allowed to go to their boarding barns and ride the horses because they are considered recreation facilities and they're shut down. So riders have a lot of time on their hands, and what do you want to do? You don't want to give up continuing to progress toward your riding goals. So I work with riders all over the world, and all of them, without exception, whether they've been elite competitive riders or adult amateurs, there's something that I call the rider fitness training scale. And the base of that is having good functional movement through your joints and a good position in your body and core strength. So I'm a centered riding level 2 instructor, and I'm a nationally certified Equine Canada coach. And most of what I focus on is the biomechanics of the rider position. Why? And that's because when you have good biomechanics or ergonomics, if you want to use that term instead, good ergonomics equals good riding, because then you can stay with the motion of your horse, you can have aids accurately and on time, and you can ride in a way that helps maintain your body and use the riding as a way to stay fit and happy and healthy longer in life. And you're not setting yourself up for injury. So you prevent injury and you ride better when you take care of your body and you have good ergonomics. Not only that, when you ride better, you provide better physical leadership for your horse. So you're staying out of his way or her way, and you're able to work with the horse's ergonomics better and be more accurate with your aids, and generally just better in aligning with the horse and in helping the horse to improve his movement instead of interfering with it. So the basic foundation of that training, as I said, is core training. So what I wanted to do for the next couple of months is introduce you to my ebook, The Killer Core Workout for Riders, which you can download off my website to any device. It's a 6-week program. To be honest, I used this program to design a training program for sport physiotherapy centers. And I ran that program several times, helping people recover from back injury and prevent future injury. The program was that good. And I developed it out of all the work that I've done with riders, because riders' use of body is so interesting. You have forward and back movement of the horse, you have side to side movement, you have rotational movement, and then you have also the orientation toward the ground. So it's really, really interesting. So it springs from having a very good neutral spine sitting on the horse. You notice I'm sitting on a fitness ball. You want to have neutral hips and good position of your shoulder over your hips. Whether you're tipping forward into a 2-point hunt jump seat or playing polo or riding dressage, you still need that neutral spine. And then from there, you position yourself in the different places that you need. So it really doesn't matter about the discipline either. So when you have a good neutral position, that would be fine if you were sitting on a fitness ball all the time and not sitting on a horse whose movement is challenging you by pushing you in different directions. You don't want to get thrown there. You also don't want to get persuaded physically into compensating patterns like kicking or pulling or tightening your hands or taking tension in your shoulders. A lot of riders that I've worked with over the years have had sore backs, back injury, tension in the back and hips, and a lot of that can be avoided by just having good maintenance of your own core strength and a really good feeling in your body for what a neutral spine is. So since this is the foundational video and this is totally new that I'm starting this, I just wanted to give you a basic sense of what a neutral spine is and give you some tips on 2 really basic exercises which are foundations for a lot of other exercises. So in addition to the neutral spine, I wanted to explain a basic ball crunch and a basic plank. So you've probably seen those exercises 100 times. There's lots of examples on YouTube. Go ahead. But I find it extremely important to have really correct technique, because when you train your body off the horse, what you train, the neuromuscular connection, the patterns that you encode in your brain and your body when you're working off horse, those are what are going to kick into action when you're on the horse thinking about something else, like the next jump or the next turn or the next lateral movement or whatever it is that you're doing. You do not want to have to take your brain off of those tasks and start thinking consciously, which part of my abdominals am I using? Am I using my spine correctly? You really want all of that to be as automatic as possible so that it's there for you when you're busy training the horse. So, basic ball crunch, basic plank, and spine neutral position. I'll start with the ball crunch. What you want is you want a ball that you can sit on with your knees roughly at a 45-degree angle. It's better to be, if you're a little bit less or a little bit more, that's fine, but you don't want a big angle of difference. You can also use this basic principle. You can enhance basic crunches on the floor by putting a ball or a cushion under your back as well to mimic the ball. The purpose of roll myself out, I want the ball in the small of my back to protect the lower back, and you want to lift your hips a little bit so that you can feel that these abdominals down here are doing some work. The whole goal of this is to take the abdominal muscles, which stretch from here to your sternum area. You want to lengthen them by dropping your head and shoulders below the level of your belly, and then shorten them by bringing it up without letting your hips fall down. You want to keep your hips up. And this is work, and you can tell it's work because my voice is shaking because all those muscles are constricting on my diaphragm. So that's a good ball crunch, and it's very comfortable for the lower back. You can get out of it like this. The starting position for everything else is a spine neutral position. You want to be able to have your legs about shoulder width apart. Bend your knees slightly, a little bit of a tilt in the pelvis so that the top of your hip bone is pointing straight to the ceiling and is in alignment with your armpit or your shoulder. So your shoulder, your hip, socket, and your ankle are in alignment. If you drop your hands and let them hang, they should be pointing at your ankles. If you bent over, your arms should naturally drop towards your ankles. So, if you go sideways, you can see this. This is not butt tucked. This is not stomach clenched or shoulders thrown back or any position like that. You actually many riders, especially hunter riders, have to drop the chest a little bit. It feels like slouching, but if you look at yourself and then test that you're able to bounce. If you can't bounce with some loose floppiness in your arms when you're bouncing, then you have tension and stiffness and you're not in alignment. So make sure you know what alignment is. Pause and feel it for a minute. Feel that you do not have a really big dip in your lower back. You have a little bit, that's natural, but you don't have a lot of dip in your lower back. You also have a little bit of engagement in your abdominal muscles here, the top. And that's what you need when you go into the plank position. So why do you want to do a plank as a rider? Because most of the time you don't spend your time like this when you're riding, you spend it like this. Well, that's because when you're riding, you do have pulls on your body which tempt you to move forward and throw the horse on the forehand, or drop your belly forward, hollow your back. We can mimic those pulls by using gravity on the ground so that when we're in that horizontal plank position, gravity is trying to pull your stomach down and you're trying to keep it up. And that's what's strengthening the abdominal and the lower back area as you do that. So what you want to watch for is you don't want your seat to fall and you don't want your seat to be too high. You just want, again, ankle, hips, and shoulders to be relatively in alignment. So the classic plank position is on your hands. Again, seat is tucked a little bit, stomach is pulling up. You can hear it in my voice because the muscles are squeezing my diaphragm. If your wrists hurt this way, you can actually take weights and you can use them as a kind of a handle so that your wrist is in a straight line and you're holding the weight straight like that, or you can be on your fists, or you can also be on your elbow. Now, a completely horizontal plank is actually quite advanced and quite difficult. So if you're not there yet, that's okay. It's all about technique. So don't do anything that pushes you into poor technique because that is counterproductive to your rider fitness. Start with an incline plank, like this, on a chair, or say the arm of a couch or something like that. And that's good enough, and gradually increase your time. I would suggest that if you're in a plank position like this and you can hold it for a minute or two, you're probably ready to go a little bit lower. If you're able to hold a plank for a minute or two on the ground in a horizontal position, you might want to add a balance challenge I do that by putting my hands together in a fist like this with the fingers together, creating a triangle between my hands and my elbows. And that's going to be a triangle of stability on top of the ball so that the ball doesn't roll away. But it could roll a little bit, which is going to challenge me to keep my weight all centered and myself balanced evenly on both sides of the body. So you want to lower the hips and hold yourself nicely right above your elbows like this, so I'm not really straining my shoulders. And that's it. That's the basic ball crunch and the basic plank and the first installment of my first video, and I'll be bringing you each month a little short video. At least that's the plan. If this has worked for you or been interesting or you've enjoyed this, please go on my Equifitt.com Facebook page and let me know. I'm not on there all the time, but I will see the comments and I really do value reader feedback.